Hi, it's Andy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to work with some digital stamps. I hope you'll stay tuned. So I went to Sparkle and Sprinkle, and they had this set called, I think it's called Hog Heaven. Hopefully I'm right. And it was on sale when I bought it. It was originally at $6, and then it was on sale. Anyway, the reason I wanted to tell you that is if you've never bought digital stamps, they are a really great investment because you get them, not only do you get the black and white that you print, I just printed on my cardstock right on my printer, or you can get it already colored, so all you'd have to do is cut it out and stick it on your card front. There's a variety of different images like you get in a regular stamp set, and I printed out So What's New and cut that out so I could put that in the inside of my card and make it a little bit fun. And I really like them. This is the first time I played with them. I struggled a little bit with the size because I couldn't figure out how to print directly from the digital stamp to the printer and make it smaller. So what I did is I printed it big and then I shrunk it on my printer. That's the only, I'm sure those of you that are really tech savvy know exactly what to do. Not so much. So what I want to do is I'm going to color my image, and I'm going to use this so it's water, and then I'm going to use some Stickles, I think, to make the water look more watery. And I'm going to use my Arteza, I think they're called, alright, I'm still screwing this up. They're TwiMarkers, but they took the N out of it, so TwiMarker. I'm still struggling with that. I apologize. Those of you who are out there cringing right now, don't bother cringing. I can't help myself. I'm a mess. So I wanted to color my piggy in pinks because, pigs are in the pink family. So I thought I would start with this lighter pink, and I'm going to do a little bit of around the edges. I think I'm going to do a little bit more with him to make him look a little bit more frisky, or her. Maybe she's a her. Up, we're going to dry her a little bit. I gotta decide about her feet. I think that's probably like a black. Is that what color you color pig feet? I don't know. Pickled pig feet. No, they're not black. I'll have to think about that. You can see in the back. Now remember, that's a water-based marker. A water-based marker going through all of that paper, that's a lot of ink that's in there. So you want to make sure that if you can get it as dry as possible, that you do, if you're going to keep coloring over it, especially in the middle where that piggy is. There are some really beautiful colors in here, and I don't know if you ever noticed this, but I always swatch out all of my markers. I put a little, see this? I put a little sticker, like like a name tag, says, "Hi, my name is Sandy." You get those at the Dollar Tree. They're called, I think, Avery name tags, and I just cut them up into little strips, and then I color them with the marker that I'm using, and then after I'm done coloring them, I know exactly what color it is, because I don't know about you guys, but when I use any marker, and I mean any marker, I can never tell if the marker that I'm using and the color that they say it is, they never seem to be in the same family. So in this case, I'm making sure by putting these little labels on, and then I'm good to go. Cut this out with my regular scissors, and when I do this, I'm going to cut onto the black, obviously, but once you do this, you want to make sure that your edges are still black, because if they aren't, well, I'll explain it a little bit better once it's cut out. The sides of your paper, because this is cardstock, the sides of your paper are thicker than regular paper. So when you cut and the person looks at this from the side, what they're going to see is the white side of the paper. So if you do cut out something from hand like this, I recommend that you also make sure that you use a black marker, and we'll just go all around the edges with our black marker. Then don't start from the front, like don't go like this. Turn it over and go from this side, because if your marker slips, this is the problem I had before, if your marker slips on this edge, you're going to end up getting it on the back of your paper, versus if you have it like this and you slip, you could end up getting it all over the front of your card. So we're going to shoot for not getting it all over the front. Okay. The next thing I want to do is come up with my green fun foam, which is going to probably end up being yellow. This makes it so that it kind of blends in better. And what I like to do with this is I like to cut it so it's about the same size. And the way you do it is I cut it so that, let's say I want a border. Let's say I want a border half this size and half this size. What I want to do now is just cut my foam, my scissors I lost. I'm going to flip it over, pinching it, and I'm not going for extreme accuracy, but I'm going to cut it out. And then what happens is when you turn it back over, you should have most of, well, this little spot right here is a little long. You should end up so that your card is, or your foam is the same size as the back, or almost the same size, a little bit smaller than the back. You can use tear tape to attach this, which is what I'm going to do just for expediency's sake. You just want to make sure that you're getting your foam attached to everything. And I also put wet glue. When I do this, I also put wet glue on it, just because I'm only going to adhere this to the back of my this, because I want to make sure. Look how good I did. I want to make sure that I do the front of my card. You know, I put everything where I want first. I'm going to color this with those greens, or maybe not, I don't know. Alright, let's give this a whirl and see what we end up with. Thought about cutting that out, but I don't know. Should I? I'm gonna. Okay, if you've never done this before, it's a painful process, but I'm doing it anyway. And all we're gonna do is do an outline of the letters, and we're gonna play with them again, where we're gonna add more marker to them. So I think what I want to do is first I'm going to put the what's new inside the card. I'm going to use tear tape for this too, only because when you use really cheap paper like this, if you use wet glue on it, it'll end up coming up. It'll, what's the word? Bulge? I'm going to use the word bulge. And you don't want that, so we're going to just put a little bit of tape at the top and a little tape at the bottom, and that way it'll hold it and we don't have to worry about anything coming off. The inside's cute. I have a bunch of Xyron machines. I forget to use them most of the time. All you're going to do is you're going to slide your little words in, and there's a little handle on the side. And I gotta figure out which way to. Okay, there you go. I don't know, you won't be able to see it yet. Hold on. Okay. See how you can see it right there? And then there's a cut bar. This is the front of our card. We have. Oh, you're going to rub this really well because you want to make sure that the adhesive attaches to the back of the word. Then what you're going to do, you're just going to grab the plastic wrap. The plastic wrap it sticks out a little bit further. Oh, hold on, I got to do it from this end. It sticks out a little bit further than the paper, so then you can just pull it like this. It makes it nice and easy to get off. The plastic wrap is super sticky. You don't want to end up having that stuck to you because that drives me crazy whenever I do that. There are a couple things you have to know about Xyrons, and that is right here in the middle of these letters, these two letters. Can you see that there's like a little ball of glue in there? Here's my recommendation. If you have one of these, it's an adhesive remover, and they're very inexpensive, but they last a lifetime. And, no, not but, and they last a lifetime. So what I'm going to do with it is I'm just going to go in the middle there, and I'm going to take that out before I lift this up, because if you lift it up, it's much harder to get that stuff out of there. And anywhere that you see anything shiny on the edges, just take it off now. See how you can't see that anymore? Okay, so then when you pull this up, you shouldn't have a lot of that that gluey, gobby stuff on the outside anymore, because now there's just one little spot right there that the W absorbed it. Okay, then we're going to put this right here, but I'm also going to go over it. As I said, we're going to play with some Stickles, and I'm also going to do something with diamond glaze. It's the same as, what do they call that, Crystal Effects. It's a 3D kind of gel that makes things look super wet, and I'm going to put my pig as close to the bottom and away from the stove as I can. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make the word so. This is diamond glaze that I've recanted into another bottle. Now, you don't want those bubbles, because those bubbles will make a mess, and you really just want to get this where you want it to end up and not have it scoot off the side of your word. Get rid of those bubbles. I know I shouldn't be using my nails for this, but I'm doing it. Our next step in this process is we're going to do the Stickles, and I thought I would do some Stickles on the flowers. And if you haven't heard the thing you need most in your craft room if you're using any kinds of glues is a pin. Then I'm going to tell you once again, these, I think they're called a T-pin. They work really good for unclogging glues, and I always have one somewhere in the general vicinity of where I'm working. And I'm just going to put Stickles on my flowers because I think that'll make them pop. The other thing, let me tell you how to close the Stickles lid. I'm going to move this over so I don't screw it up. Okay, you see the lid has a little bit of stuff on it. Wipe it off and then do this and then squeeze it and suck it back in because you want there to be air. You want the air to suck all the Stickles out of the tip before you close it up, because that way you don't end up having any big issues with getting it clogged like I normally do. Next, I'm going to make ripples in my water. If you need to add any more, you do it later. I think because I am insane, I'm going to add some to my piggy because I can't stop myself because I love this stuff, and once I start using it, I cannot stop, clearly. This way, our pig's going to be all glittery too. Hey, you gotta love glitter, right? And I didn't have to put any glitter on it when I was doing this. I just did this. There she is. We'll let her dry and then I'll come back tomorrow and we'll finish her up. So I finished off my card, and I don't know if you can see this, but the pig is flat, but the so is raised. It's not raised significantly, but it's raised more than the pig is. And my water, I think, does come off looking a little bit like water. Here's our inside of our card. What's new? I stamped my stamp on the back. I got that from Stamp Panda, and it's one of their square stamps that I think is called Molly. And I just changed it from an address stamp for Made For You by Sandy Parker. That's all I did. And then, and I used a Groupon coupon because it's very expensive to buy from Stamp Panda. That stamp is like a $45 stamp, and by using the coupons I used, I got it for around $20. So I really recommend you using a coupon if you do want to get one of those made. And the last thing I did is I took my envelope and I stamped with a rubber stamp tapestry Doggy Running Happy stamp. Love peg stamps. If you don't use them for anything else, they're so much fun to use on your envelopes because they really make an envelope fun. Look at that. I mean, the dog running on the back of the envelope, and I made it so it looked like it was hopping on this part of the envelope. Just saying, they're really fun to use. I love them, as you know already. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed our little piggy video and that you saw that the TwiMarkers, not Twi, TwiMarkers work on inexpensive cardstock, which is really nice to know. And in general, that the blending wasn't as hard as I thought it might be on inexpensive paper. It's obviously much easier if you use better paper like a watercolor paper or a marker paper or a Strathmore Bristol paper. But anyway, this is the results if you use an inexpensive paper and a piece of foam under it. So it would make it a little bit raised off of the water. I hope you enjoyed this, that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell your friends about me on social media because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.